I think it's really important for people who come from outside the United States to visit to actually come into the heartland and not just visit the New York Cities or the Chicagos, and actually come into the Midwest, where they come into a community that is much like communities across this country and actually deal with what I would consider to be the average American.
Well, my wife and I started when Ozzie Langfelder was in office, and then we worked along with Karen Hacera up until the current time. My background, I'm a farmer or a retired farmer. We developed a subdivision, my wife and I. You know, farming gives me an opportunity to have free time in the winter and the summer, so that's how we got involved in these different organizations. Everyone is just like us. They all want something better for their children. They're over here trying to learn about the legal processes that go on, how you incorporate, how the township, county, state, and federal governments interact together, because there's so many things that aren't going on over there like they have been in this country for years and years.
I know we've had over the years a number of programs about law enforcement and our justice system, which I think are really, really important. The programs that we've had since the fall of the Soviet Union, with governments trying to form their local governments for the first time in generations. So being able to share our municipal government system with them. Political journalism, when you get people coming from countries where there is no freedom of the press. And so getting the opportunity to interact with our journalists in the Capitol Press Room and to see that they can operate as a free press and say what's on their mind.
People come to Springfield to study many different things. Not only the Lincoln aspect, which is most, that's what people think of most, is the Lincoln background, but they also come to study our government, the General Assembly. They come to study farming. They come here to study, I had a group that came to study about volunteerism. We visited the Boys and Girls Club. There was a group from Indonesia who came here to study our media, and that's when we went to the newspaper and the radio and the television stations. There was also a Canadian judge who met with our state's attorney. So, you know, the variety is limitless.
We had a couple of professors coming from China. He's a professor from the University of China, Beijing, and he and a couple of others. I took him to visit this big farm in Loami, and this professor was so surprised to see the size of this mammoth machine that combined, stored in this huge shed, because in China they did not have that kind of huge machinery. So you get to take these people, and I took the lawyers to the Supreme Court building, Springfield, the courthouse, and meet with some other lawyers, and it was very, very very enjoyable experience.
It gives our citizens the opportunity to be citizen diplomats. Not everyone can travel internationally, but everyone can learn about international affairs and meet people from all over the world. So I think that's the most important thing, is that it gives our citizens a chance to learn a lot about the world, but it also gives citizens from all over the world the opportunity to learn about Middle America, because so often people go to the East or West Coast and Washington, D.C., and probably if it weren't for Abraham Lincoln being from here, we wouldn't be so fortunate to have so many citizens come to Middle America.
I learned that I had an opportunity to show international visitors the greatness of not only this city, but of the United States.
What is very important for any city, actually, to have an International Visitors Commission. because our world is getting smaller and smaller. Springfield is just really a beautiful city, but people may not really know it. So I like other people to also enjoy it and really appreciate Springfield. It provides opportunity for me to be learning from other countries, the people from other countries, and later on, actually, lasting friendship has been built.
When I came here at the early days, we really didn't have a lot of time, but when things quieted down a little bit, Placina Harvey, who was then head of Springfield Commission on International Visitors, called and said, would we like to have some visitors? And we said, you know, that's a nice break in the action, and it is, but it also is very profitable for a lot of people. The personal aside from that is that one of the visitors who came was from Malaysia, and they invited us from Lincoln Land to come and help them establish a community college there. And there have been many since then. So is it partly personal involvement? Sure. But that's what happens with people who become international visitor hosts. They do become personally involved.
Probably my favorite activity with the Commission is escorting visitors from around the world to their appointments in Springfield. I don't have to set up their appointments, I just have to get them to their spot on time. And I have taken people to Channel 20, to the State's Attorney's Office, to the General Assembly, to a farm. I mean, the different places that you go are as varied as night and day, and you meet people from all over the world. My most memorable visitor would be the girls who came from the Ukraine about 3 years ago. And I think they're probably the most memorable because they stayed here with me for an entire week. And not only were they staying here at night after they'd been through their appointments all day, but I was their escort during the day. So we got to be real good friends. And, you know, as you get to know them, there's never an ordinary day with a group.
The Commission is great. They have information about the individual who would come to visit. And I would prepare myself and learn about the country prior to their arrival. So I would learn about their culture, and so hopefully I would not make any faux pas. You have connections with people from other countries and other cultures, and you will know that, wow, we're not that much different.
Yeah, we'll pick them up at the hotel in Springfield, take them out to our home and have an evening meal with them, and then just sit around and discuss different things. And you'll find after a while people will loosen up a little bit, and when they find out that they can ask about any questions they want to ask, then it really gets interesting at that point. Our nicest visit was from a girl by the name of Sanabar from Tajikistan. And we got to know her rather well and stayed in contact with her after she left, like we've done quite a few of the other people. We got to know her two daughters, and we shipped some rollerblades to them. Of course, it costs as much to send the rollerblades over there to them as it did to buy them, but I've got emails in my diary here from the two girls thanking Aunt Marianne and Uncle David for their presents.
We never really know who we're meeting, and we have to take into consideration that the way we treat people in Springfield does have an international consequence, because people talk, and we should treat people with respect no matter where they're from and at what level of the socioeconomic spectrum they're coming from, because I think that the way we treat people here is the way we're going to get treated when we visit their country.
One cannot just really be living in your own culture without contacting with other nationalities.
Everyone who is involved with this program knows that our job is to represent the city, represent the United States to perfection as far as I'm concerned, so that we send back that message of how great we are.
We want to show how the Springfield community, we have small these clubs or the places that international visitors are welcome. That's why I enjoyed working with the International Visitors Commission. And also commission members, there are 15 members, and I enjoy every one of them. They are very nice bunch of people to work with. They are very dedicated. That's one of the reasons I work with the International Visitors Commission.
I think that I got as much out of it as the international visitor did by having me do the things. It was a perfect thing for both of us.
I think it will always be very, very important to have an International Visitors Commission here in Springfield. I think it's so important that we spend the 50th anniversary reflecting on the good work that the Commission has done, particularly with hundreds and hundreds of volunteers throughout those years. The Commission has one paid employee, and everything else we do is by volunteers. And the citizens love entertaining national visitors. We never have problems seeking out people to help us when we have visitors from around the world come to town. So I think it's important we recognize those volunteers and recognize the opportunity that we actually have here.
I can't begin to thank them enough for all that they do. And it's not just those people that are involved today, because the International Visitors Association has been involved for the past 50 years, and most everyone that's involved are long-term, dedicated volunteers who always put Springfield's best foot forward, and I thank you very, very much for doing it.